Yes, yes, boys and girls, we are out of work. It's as they say, hump day. It's a Wednesday evening, and we've had some dinner. And look who our special guest is tonight. First time, and I've been looking forward to this one because such a good guy. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid, and my very special guest, Andrew Pilarski, also known as, and I don't know, Drew Kazoo. I don't like
That's
to call
right.
him Kazoo. We're going to get into that a little bit later. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Dude, an honor and a pleasure. Honestly, so happy to be here.
Oh, awesome, man. We met each other, and I'll start right here because I thought, and I got very little data banks left. I do. I try to get it.
You and me both, Don. Trust me.
uh, I was going through my data banks, and the first time that I remember specifically meeting you was at a training day at the TOS Dojo in East Hartford. They have beautiful, intimate, small shows there on Church Street in East Hartford. Amazing. We're going to be talking about Test of Strength. But that's the first time I met you, and I didn't recognize you without your suit on because I've seen you on the old medias as an announcer. So when I seen you at the Test of Strength and you introduced myself, I felt like a jackass. Uh, so I remember that day very specifically. Do you remember that day, my man?
Of course I do. Yeah. And I remember you saying all of this exactly, almost word for word. Yep.
Because I try to pay attention as much as I can on the pulse, especially in our very immediate area. And not only that, you're part of the Bell Time Club up there, the sister company, if you will, being of Test of Strength. So I should know these things. And then I didn't recognize you without your suit on, and yeah, that was an awkward moment for me because I was like, oh shit.
No, man, it was all good. Totally all good. I mean, I'm not really a suit guy, and to tell you the truth, I mean, that's the only time I'm ever really in a suit, so.
But that shows your professionalism within the industry as an announcer or a commentator. We're going to get into all of that. But I've seen you commentating there, sitting at the table along with a couple cohorts here and there. But you look very professional, and I applaud you for bringing that to the table because commentators, announcers, they're supposed to present themselves in a specific way, and I think you're doing a fine job.
I appreciate that, and yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel that professionalism though? Because you see guys that are on the scene now that have come up very quickly, and I'm going to name one guy specifically because he's very immediate in my area, and I know you know who he is. Is one Matt DeCourt,
Yep.
Announcer extraordinaire. He's been actually being called the voice of New England now. There's a Rich Palladino out there that might have different words about that. But
Absolutely.
we still call him the voice of the Northeast because I'm telling you, Matt DeCourt is doing an absolute fine job coming up in his career as an announcer. And I'm not taking away from one Andrew right now, but the professionalism. He's always in a suit, got that beautiful bow tie, looking always dapper. Anytime I seen you at that commentator booth there, you're very dapper. And I just think that's a thing that should be done by announcers and commentators alike. I mean, do you feel that same wavelength?
I do 100%. Absolutely. And just real quick, I got to add, Rich Palladino is an absolute god in the Northeast. So Matt DeCourt can be, no matter how he up is, he'll have to always be one notch below Mr. Palladino. For sure. But Matt's a great guy. I could be wrong. I feel like I can't remember which training day it was, again, with the database, like you were saying. But I feel like I met Matt on his first ring announcing gig, which I think was it was like a few training days ago.
Well, I want to recorrect you on that because Matt DeCourt's home base is PAPW, Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
They have a facility down in East Haven run by Paul Roma, Mario Mancini, and a couple others. And that's where he got his feet wet. That's his home base, is at PAPW.
So it could have been his first TOS gig.
Correct.
That's probably what he said. Yeah. Okay.
That could definitely be it. Uh, but for an upcomer, great job. Again, the presentation visually looking really good, but on the microphone, he seems to have found his niche really well.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he nails it. I mean, absolutely. And you're right. The suit is essential. It's like it just like you said, screams professionalism. Like if you're up there in a t. I mean, you better be somebody if you're in there with a t-shirt. You bet everybody better know who you are. You know what I mean? Like honestly, not that I sound like the leader of the Rich Palladino fan club. Palladino could get up there in a t-shirt if he wanted to. You know.
We have seen him in a Hawaiian shirt, if I'm not mistaken, at a Beyond show.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he doesn't care to do that casual thing again because of the presentation. Mr. Palladino, total professional throughout. But I believe there was a Hawaiian shirt on an outdoor event. It was during the whole COVID thing when they were kind of closing, no audience, and then no fans or anything like that. So it was just when they were starting to come back just at the beginnings of it. And I believe Mr. Palladino was in a Hawaiian shirt, which was very odd for me as a fan because I've always seen him in a suit,
Right. I definitely saw the Hawaiian shirt. I can't put a finger on where exactly it was, but I did see it. Again, he can get away with that for sure.
He definitely can.
Absolutely.
Now I know we're kind of working around Andrew. We're not focused, but I speak of the talent that we have in our area because not only does the New England area, we have some of the most amazing talent that's ever come out here. And it's spread all across the country, all across the globe. And I know there's other hot spots across the country and the globe that do their own thing as well. But New England, I mean, for a long time, it's been a hotbed, if you will. And I'm talking the whole East Coast from Maine to Florida. Yeah. And I know I said New England, but including the entire East Coast, Yeah. And you happen to seem to be part of that scene. Are you a brand new commentator that's coming on the scene? Because I think I remember seeing you at a couple bell time shows, maybe a couple years pre-COVID, if you will. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, the thing about it is so I don't know if you know the whole story of how the Fenway, the bell time Fenway events, the summer events, like kind of came to be. Now, those were once a year. Mm-hmm. So for a couple of years, I was only doing it once a year until I don't know if we want to get into that at all, but Bo Douglas, who runs the bell time, and Dante Luna, who's like I don't know how familiar you are with Dante, but this is you are. Yeah. Yeah. Like the guy is just the hardest working guy, maybe in the universe, like just to be able to get paid doing, he get paid to do what he loves to do. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, they started to do, they had just the Fenway events and then branched out and started to do more at the Malden Irish American. So there was a whole bunch of events after that I did as well pre-COVID. So I mean, it was a handful, but it was a lot. Those Fenway events were like 4 hours in a row. Like literally everybody from New England was there, and it was just kind of like there was a really long day. So I mean, I definitely got experience. However, it wasn't like on a consistent basis. In the beginning, it was like once a year. And then after about 2 or 3 of them, we started to have more shows during the year. And then, of course, I got to do the Fight for Your Dreams, too, which was that was amazing. Again, whole nother conversation, but yeah. For sure. So, and again, it was kind of, to me, it was the same because the Bell Time and the Test of Strength are kind of like the sister schools, Yes. Bo and Wagner just are like, old friends from way back when, 2 Kowalski guys,
Yeah, they came up. I've interviewed each. Beautiful merch you have on. I've interviewed each, Bo and Mr. Slick Wagner Brown, in separate interviews, and they've gone into both detail about their upcoming together in the Kowalski generation. And I know I spoke. See, I get chills just talking about it. I spoke with Slick. I do believe first. And then when I spoke with Mr. Douglas post that, some of it was similar because they kind of came up together and had somewhat of a similar story together, being coming up in that Kowalski era. But I could listen to that story again and again. I love that stuff, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, all of the Kowalski stories are just to even just be able to say that. I don't even. I feel silly even putting it in these words, but like even latching on, just like a little parasite onto that story, just to even be a little tiny part of that, to be able to say, you know, the guy that put me on was trained by Killer Kowalski. You know, to me is just it's just incredible. You know, like so many of those stories. I don't want to keep getting us off track, but I mean, if you think about the guys, I mean, Triple H was, you know, is a Kowalski guy. You know. And then I'll start going off track here. Yes, 100% right, man. Same thing with me. I couldn't agree more.
Andrew, I fucking love you to pieces, my man. This, boys and girls, we talk about passion, excitement, loving the game, loving the business of wrestling, if you will. This is one of those guys, very excited to speak wrestling, to talk wrestling, hang out, and just talk wrestling. And you can just see it in his conversation. And don't ever think for a second, my man, that you're getting off track, because you're just thinking of all of this cool stuff. Whatever you got on your mind, please talk to us, the fans, about, because that's why you're here. We want to hear this stuff. And I love stories. I love, if you know, this knowledge that you speak of, please lay it in on us. We don't care. We want you on here for that kind of stuff.
Well, hey, okay. So what I was going to say, I was bringing up the Kowalski and the whole Triple H thing. Sure, you're familiar with Stiff Mike, who's he's been everywhere. He's an APW guy. Obviously, he's a veteran. I think of the story of him. He worked as in downtown Boston at a jewelry store. He was a security guard at the time, way back when. Which, I mean, you got to be a tough SOB to want to do that job anyway. But and Triple H came in and he basically told him, like, hey, you know, I want to get into wrestling. He said, I think I know just the place for you. What a great story for Stiff Mike to be able to say. You know what I mean? Like, well, like I said, that's just, there's a million of those little stories that pop in my mind. Like, but yeah, isn't that great?
I love that stuff right there, Drew. For real, I absolutely love that kind of stuff. But that right there, in a nutshell, of what you just spoke of, in that short minute, maybe minute and a half, that to me, because I am from an older generation of wrestling, my fave guy is Don Morocco. I mean, there's other fave guys to, you know, put up on that pedestal. But Don Morocco, for me, was just the guy. He could be heel, he could be face, he could yell at you no matter what. He could be slobbering with snot coming out of him. And everything he did, everything he said, you could believe that he was going to murder you. He was going to kill you. He was going to come through that TV. And as an 8-year-old kid, or, you know, 5-year-old kid, working my way up and remembering some of the stuff that I seen on TV, that's the guy that made me believe everything he said. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm 44 and I was, you know, I think my first live event might have been in like 1984, 85. So I used to see Morocco. I mean, he obviously wasn't brand new at the time. He's, you know, but this was, you know, he had Mr. Fuji as his manager, and yeah, for sure. Morocco was. I got. So do you remember? You said everything. Whatever I wanted to. Okay, so obviously you remember the angle with the where they did the Piper's Pit versus the Adrian Adonis's Flower Shop.
Of course.
And they all jumped Piper and they broke his leg. So you remember how at the monthly events, I used to go to the Boston Garden to see the monthly events. I don't know where you went, but I'm sure it was the same type of deal. They would announce the main event at the end of the night. They would announce the main event for the following month. At least they did it at the Garden. And it's just, I as a kid will never forget this, because we always used to see Hogan in the main event. It was always Hogan and someone else. And as that started to fizzle out, and at this, you know, during that whole story with the Roddy Piper, and it was like Adonis, Orton, Morocco. Who was there was a fourth, and if I can't remember at the top who it was, they all jumped him and they broke his leg. I remember the announcer saying in the main event next month, it'll be the Magnificent Morocco and he will be taking on, and there was this long pause, and he waited. And I'm like, it's not going to be Hogan. My young wrestler man was like, this won't be Hogan. This is not. It's just like, is it going to be? And they said, Rowdy, and the place just became completely unglued. And I was like, wow. I mean, that's one. He's got a whole bunch to take out, but he's going to get Morocco first. But that was one of my favorite Don Morocco memories, for sure.
But that memory you just spoke of, that's why I liked, and I still do. I may prefer the older era as well over the new era because of that fact. There was a shock value all the time when these big announcements happen. When, Jimmy Snook is getting his head cracked open by the coconut. When Shawn Michaels is when Shawn Michaels is putting Jannetty through the barbershop glass. When these big moments happen, and look at me, baby, just chills. But that's why I liked that older era and still do for those reasons. There's not a lot of shock value because there's been so much done in such a short amount of time. In the last decade alone, we'll just call the last decade alone, maybe even since the break of 2000, to be honest with you. There's been so much stuff done that shock value is almost kind of gone to the wayside. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I also think it has a lot to do with, being a child. You're much more susceptible to but no, you're 100% right, because there still have been plenty of things that were really fun surprises. Whenever you get a fun surprise or something that you weren't ready for, but I think you react differently as a child. And maybe it's like, it's almost like being a drug addict. You're chasing the first high. That sense of excitement you got when you were a kid. You want that to happen all the time. You just want to keep getting that. But yeah, for sure.
And not to take anything away from over the course of the past, say 20 years, because, we kind of got that transition of the Monday Night Wars, and then WCW went away, and then that whole thing with WWF really picked up, and all of this thing, so there was a lot of changes from the break of 2000 and such. And there's been a lot of happenings, not to take anything away from that, and a lot of stuff that I do remember over the course of the past 20. But like my very first live event, and I've said it a few times, Bristol Central High School, 1978. There was a co-main event, was Tito Santana and Ivan Putski as tag partners going against the Wild Samoans with Captain Lou Albano. And then the main event was Bob Backlund as a champ. He was going against Cowboy Bob Orton. And I'll never forget those two matches specifically. For some reason, the rest of the event is kind of faded, but those two matches really stick out to me. And I know there's a lot of the era that I speak of, the younger generation, if you will, when I speak to the talent on this show. Their guys were the Rocks, the Cenas, the Stone Colds, the Edges, so they were in a different era than I was, obviously. So I listened to their stories, and it's very similar to that era, but with just a different value, if you will.
Well, yeah, you know what I loved most about the old, I'm going to say the old cards, the old events, was exactly that. Was, to me, a huge part of the magic was getting that sheet in the program with all the matches on it. And the main event was at the top, and you go down. Go ahead. Go. Yeah.
You felt like you knew something when you saw. You're like, oh my God, I've got this like vital information. I don't know why or what it was, but I felt like that.
Well, there was that, there's that saying, it's because it's the first thing I always think of when they say this match looks good on paper. And another thing when they say that styles make fights, which is so true. The two contrasting styles, so I had, it was my mom's uncle Blondie is what we called him growing up. He had the handlebar mustache and everything. He was a character, but he was a big fan. He used to go all the time. And when I was really young, again, 84, 85, and he knew that I got the bug, he gave me stacks of that, which I wish I still had, stacks and stacks of old magazines and programs. And that was it for me. I poured over them. Had all the programs, had all the sheets with the matches on them, and just a lot of the wrestling that I was into as a kid, I couldn't even see on TV. Like at the time, I don't think we got don't think we had cable in my house until about 86. So all of the anything NWA, I think we had AWA on ESPN, but especially NWA and stuff like that. It was all I could see. I mean, we never saw Abdullah the Butcher or Bruiser Brody or any of that stuff, but I knew it all from the magazines and from the programs and from the books and whatnot. But those sheets, like, and knowing who those guys were, I could visualize the different styles. Like you'd see Bob Backlund versus superstar Billy Graham, and in my mind, it was the short, Olympic collegiate style, like pure wrestler against the big, tall, muscle-bound jerk. Yeah. And it just, I could visualize that style and how it made perfect sense. And everything on that card was like that for me. It was just kind of like seeing the chemistry even before it happened. Then being able to witness it was,
And a lot of that emotion is part of what we're talking about, though, Andrew. It kind of gets lost in a translation because I speak of the evolution of, obviously, with the wrestlers, their character, their gimmick, their mindset, their physical prowess, how they dress, present themselves, how they talk to the fans, if they've been face heel, and all of that. So there's different aspects and evolution of a wrestler. But I also speak of a lot of the evolution of wrestling itself. And what we're talking about right now, the shock value being lost a little bit here. And nowadays, because all the fans want to know, they think they know the terminology. They think they know how the business works behind the scenes and how all the gear is run and all of that stuff. But they want to read these dirt sheets and they want to get this information before it actually comes out. Some of it is true. A lot of it is not true. More of a rumor mill, if you will. But some of it is true. Now, I kind of got caught up in that for a quick minute because it was almost like that same feel of opening the program. I was like, man, I know I'm not the only one, but I got some cool information and I can't wait for Raw. But then when Raw came, I'm like, I already know it didn't do anything for me as a fan. I totally eliminated it. When I felt it that one night, Andrew, I'm like, you know what? I don't like this anymore because I'm not feeling the wrestling fan. Holy shit, it's the return of blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't get that no more. You know, so I took all of that shit and I put it to the wayside. I don't read rumor mills. I don't read none of that dirt sheet shit. I don't read nothing like that anymore. And it's been like that for a very, very long time.
Smart man, yeah. And I mean, I think a lot of times people, I don't want to like insult anybody, but I mean, the facts are the facts. I think that, and this could be with wrestling, this could be with music or movies or anything. Some people feel like, if they appear to be the foremost expert on this particular thing, it sort of becomes their identity, and they feel so stupid to look like, it's a source of pride for them to be able to stand above everyone else and being the expert and knowing so much about it that you're afraid to just be like, oh, I didn't know that, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't read that. No, I didn't see that, like it's, and I think a lot of people just kind of take too much pride in that. And you're right, like getting all, like, what fun is it? Like, I think that a lot of times, like, and sometimes it gets me in trouble too when I'm supposed to be more professional and more like, I just like being a fan. I want to be a fan. I still just want to go. I just want to be there and, and watch and watch an event.
You catch yourself popping because you're supposed to be down the middle all the time. And I know you're supposed to present some energy as a commentator. And I know there's supposed to be, the heel and the face commentator. But you do find yourself really popping for what's happening in ring a lot of times as a fan. And you catch yourself and you might have to pull the reins back just a smidge because, wait, I'm here doing a job.
Yeah, sometimes, or even just, off commentary, knowing people, like knowing sometimes that, that I'm a commentator, that I mean, again, I'm not like, I don't go way back. I still consider myself green as hell. And I'll probably look at myself like that until the day I die, just because you're always learning, you're always getting better. I'm just not comfortable saying, I'm just, I have confidence in what I'm doing. Obviously, or I wouldn't be doing it, but I never could really feel like that about myself. And it's just, I still want to get on Zooms with my friends and watch pay-per-views, WWE pay-per-views. I still want to talk about it. I'm just still a fan. Will always be a fan, like.
I love that because I feel there are some there are some talents legit that don't watch the wrestling and maybe
Cool.
have kind of gotten away from the fandom. They feel, and I've heard it, and it's odd because I never thought I would hear that about from more than one talent, not like a ton of them, but just from more than one talent, that they kind of tune that stuff out. It's almost a hindrance. They do want to see like highlights and stuff maybe on the gram or whatever, but to watch the programming on a regular basis is something that they don't do, but they want to keep up maybe on the social medias and check out highlights and stuff just to see what's going on and such for their own specific reasons. But I feel personally, IMO, in my opinion, you lose that fandom as a talent. There's that piece, and I speak of so many pieces of a puzzle that it takes to become a singles wrestler, just one person to become a wrestler. There are so many pieces of a puzzle that it takes. That is one of the pieces, again, in my opinion, as a fan, that I feel would be missing to complete that puzzle as a wrestling talent throughout your career. I feel you have to. And again, they have them for that reason is because of whatever, their personal reasons. It's why they do not maybe watch the product on a regular basis. But I just feel it's just that one little piece that might be missing.
Absolutely. You can always tell, like, there's this little thing when you're watching maybe, and I'm speaking now about the bigger, the promotions that are on TV or whatnot, the bigger promotion. When you see somebody, you can just tell who the fans are, especially in WWE, when you can just they'll pluck athletes from here and there, and then you find out they weren't fans watching it growing up in that, but here they are in the ring, like on TV when they didn't quit. But you can tell who the fans were that really, really love pro wrestling. And I got a thing. I think you'll appreciate this, Don. If you cry after you win a title, I like you automatically, even if I didn't love you before. Even like I'm not huge on Bronson Reed. I don't hate Bronson Reed, but I'm not in love with Bronson Reed. Okay,
what a
but
moment,
he cried. Huh?
What a moment.
He cried when he won the North American title, and I went, you know what? I like him more now. On the flip side, when Dominic Mysterio won the belts with his dad, he didn't shed a tear. It was like, this is just what happens. And maybe I don't know, maybe I'm being too judgmental, but I'm just like, you should have cried. You just won the tag titles with your dad, and you should have cried, young man. I'm sorry, but anyway, if you cry when you win a title, I like you automatically.
But that's your fandom. That's the passion coming out, though, because you're almost expecting when something because WWE alone, never mind the fan pages and stuff that float around on the book and the medias, WWE has actually put pictures side by side with Dominic and Ray, maybe back in the day hanging out with a veteran in the game, with the veteran holding Dominic and Ray standing with him, and different times with Dominic and Ray throughout Dominic's life. Yeah. You would think if anybody in the universe at this point in the modern era were to win gold, it would be that bleeping kid.
With your dad. Again, maybe it's harsh judgment. I don't know. I can't. I'm not saying he's a good guy or good or a bad person, but in my mind, he didn't win any points with me for that. Not at all. Not at all. And then you look at somebody like Ty Conti in who's in AEW now. Her first 3 or 4 just TV wins, period, she was crying. You know what I mean? It wasn't even for any belts or anything like that. She just cried anytime she got the 1, 2, 3 for her first 3, 4 TV matches. And I'm like, you know what? I like her. You know?
You know what, Andrew? I love your fandom so much, man. It really shows how you speak about wrestling when you're talking wrestling. And we've only probably talked to Andrew about this much out of the past half hour.
Totally fine with me. Yeah, but no. Yeah.
No, but I love your fandom, and I know I've said it probably 3 or 4 times already. I just think it's amazing that and it doesn't matter if you're ringing the bell. It doesn't matter if you're looking at your watch being a timekeeper. If you're one of the guys or girls that just maybe possibly set up the ring because you dig doing it or whatever. Any part of the industry with a fandom like yours, I wish we had a million of them, because it's just, and I'm not saying that I haven't talked to so many talent that has the passion, your passion and such, the athletes and the performers. But I just wish there was more of it spread around. And I think it would just, I don't know. I think wrestling would be just that much better, if you will.
I think so too. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you spoke of, you've been in the game a little bit and you consider yourself green. How long are we talking here for Drew Kazoo, if you will, being a commentator? And have you only been a commentator?
Only been a commentator. Yes.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna botch this. When was the first Fenway event? So okay. So for the very first Fenway event, I didn't get to do commentary. I was hoping I was there, and I was going to do. How far back should I rewind here? I'm trying to think.
Hey, you can do whatever you want as long as you want to hang out and chit chat. I got you.
Yeah. Okay. So all right. I love to tell people that, like, so all right. So we were going to a lot of local shows, mostly any New England Championship Wrestling, Sheldon Goldberg's promotion. We started to go to a lot of those. My son was a lot younger at the time. We would go a whole lot, and I mean, we would always see Bo Douglas, the Masshole Mike McCarthy, Slick Wagner Brown, Brad Hollister. Those were the guys we would see all the time. Plus, obviously, a whole lot more. But and so I had. Here's the shameless plug. I play in a band called the Sprained Ankles. Okay, it's not full-on comedy, but funny, so we try to keep it funny.
I love that name for a band. Are you shitting me? The Sprained Ankles?
Well, see, okay, I wanted to be, because I'll never purport to be like Mr. Hardcore Punk or anything like that. I went to shows. I was never really like, especially starting, I wasn't like super entrenched in the hardcore scene where like people knew who I was and stuff, but we would go to the shows and we were learning about punk and learning about hardcore, and we'd be standing in the back and, terrified to go near the pit because it was just, super scary for us and whatnot. But anyway, and then I started playing in another band, my very good friend Vito Ronca's band called Wrong Side of the Tracks. Started playing drums and playing punk and going to a lot of shows and kind of meeting more people, and always kind of wanted to have my own band. Now this is where the name comes in, because a lot of the bands and a lot of the kids that we knew, they would have these bands with like these super tough sounding names. And I'd want to kind of be like, what are you guys doing? Like, I know you guys. You guys are like super nice, chill, cool guys. Like, why do you have like these band names like, Brass Knuckle Beatdown and stuff like that? Like, dude, I know you. You've never, you know what I mean? Like, it's the image and stuff like that. So it was that was where the name, we wanted it to sort of joke about an injury, but also wanted to know, like, we're not doing that. We're here for the fun. We make silly, goofy songs. The Sprained Ankle, I think as soon as you hear that, you got to say, like, and that's also why I went with the name Kazoo. And I'll shit you not, for the first few years, I played, we had kazoo parts in the songs.
Come on, really?
Yeah. So it was like the place of a horn. We didn't put it all over the place. We didn't put it in every song, but there was enough of it. Our intro, whenever we play it out, I bust a kazoo out. A couple songs, I put the solo as a horn. On our first disc, it has a kazoo on it.
Nice.
Our first record review, the guy was like, saying, basically, they don't take themselves too seriously. The guy's name is Drew Kazoo. There's cover art. Their cover art is a kazoo. He employs a kazoo. He's like, do I need to explain? So basically, the Drew Kazoo and the Sprained Ankles thing was, I was really trying to put the stamp on it to say, we're a fun band. Don't take us too seriously. We're awesome. Fun for everybody. So that's how the Drew Kazoo thing stuck. Then when I found out that Colt Cabana played silly wrestling songs, I said, oh, well, I need to get in on that. So I whipped up a bunch of them real quick, and I sent them off to him, and within, I think, 3 or 4 months, he played 2 of them on the podcast. And I was just like, okay, Now I'm going to try to take this thing a step further and do what and I forgot to mention that one of our bigger songs that the Ankles had was a song called Andre the Giant, and all the lyrics were just were his introduction. The lyrics were just from Grenoble in the French Alps.
Shut up.
That was it. There was no other lyrics. Okay. So and people loved it. So everyone kind of knew I was like the wrestling guy. But getting the 2 songs on Cabana's podcast was like what I call my license to try to get in the game. Because I would tell everyone, look, I got something going on. Colt Cabana played 2 of my songs. That qualifies me to be a commentator. Right? So going to the NECW shows, it was the first guy. Now, again, another side note. Some people know this, some people don't. The masshole Mike McCarthy, I knew, and I say knew, not like knew of, was and I mean this in the most respectful way, was a total madman in the Boston punk and hardcore scene. Like seeing him, like the pits that I wouldn't go anywhere near, he was literally flipping off the speakers into the crowd, just an absolute madman. And even the guys in my band who were like way more entrenched in the scene than I were like, that guy's crazy. Like, Mike, stay away from that guy. That guy is crazy. So when I found out he wrestled, I'm like, I had this misconception. I'm like, being who he is and being this crazy guy, like, I bet you he just wants to like do hardcore matches and bust himself open and stuff like that. And like, obviously, years later, when I did see him wrestle, boy, was I wrong. Like, you want to talk about a real student of the game, like the guy, he's like a professional wrestler in every single sense of it. Still a madman, but a professional wrestler in every sense of the word. And I couldn't have been more wrong. The technical skills and taking it to the mat and all that stuff. So anyway, now I'm hooked. I'm going to NECW shows, and it was the masshole. I'm pretty sure who told me, if you want to do anything, talk to Bo. Bo's a good guy. Talk to Bo. So I was able to like corner Bo at one of the NECW shows and tell him I was interested in doing something. I wanted to, and he was gracious enough to let me come down to the bell time and practice interview some of the guys, which was obviously, you can imagine, a little nerve-wracking for me. Like, one of them was Benny Jukes, who's like, judo master, tough dude. Like, and here I am walking into the middle of their training, just, I want to practice. Like, it's just how you can imagine, obviously, right? So I did, I got to interview Bo. I got to interview Benny Jukes. And then I got to interview one of the funniest dudes ever in wrestling. One of my favorite wrestlers in New England ever, Dan Terry, was there as well. So yeah. So it was kind of like, it was nerve-wracking, but I was obviously on cloud 9 that I'm like, I kind of have a chance to do it. And so I did that because Sheldon had posted something. They had their backstage interviewer was leaving, and they were looking for a new guy. And so I had sent my clips of what I did at the bell time to Sheldon, basically like, hey, I want to be that guy. Didn't happen. But anyway, that's what I did. And just kind of left it at that. And then it was down the road. So I was putting the timeline together. It must have been Dante Luna had gone to, and just for anyone that doesn't know, like, Dante is a documentary filmmaker, the hardest working guy in the world. Like, the guy still just wakes up at 5 a.m. to edit videos and to go out, and he works for the Pedro Martinez Foundation. He works for I can't even, we'd need a whole other interview to talk about everything this guy's done. Like, Definitely look at Dante Luna's YouTube page and look at all the stuff this guy has done, all the documentaries he's made and all the work he's put in. Anyway, one of them, he was doing a documentary on the Bell Time Club, on Bo and on the Bell Time. And through that, I'm assuming they started to talk about, Dante getting involved in wrestling. At the same exact time, El Mundo, the newspaper, were planning their yearly Latino festival. They were doing it at Fenway. Okay. So Dante had gone to the guy who runs El Mundo and said, hey, how would you feel about having wrestling as part of the Latino festival at Fenway? And he said, yeah, that's a great idea. So he went to Bo. Hey, Bo, guess what? You guys want to do something at Fenway, and I mean, Bo was like, obviously, yeah, absolutely. and just couldn't have imagined how much bigger it would be, because Bo basically, I mean, from the first year the thing went for 4 hours. So you can imagine how much talent was on that first show.
I think between the first 2 shows, and I'll just keep it at the first 2 shows, I think there may have been about 175 matches just between the 2 shows.
We're laughing. You might not really be that far off to tell you. It was a lot, man. It was a lot. And so the first year, my plan was, so Bo hit me up. He said, "Hey, I didn't forget about you. I think we got something for you." And I'm like, nice. Shit, fucking excellent, you know? So, and that's what it was. So I showed up to the first one planning to do backstage interviews, and somehow that didn't pan out. All I did that day was I made I edited out a cool YouTube video, which you can still see, but whatever. It's all like first year of Fenway. Okay.
Okay.
So, and then the second year, if I got this right, we did the commentary. And when I say we, it was me and another guy named Joe Hesh, goes by JC Hesh or Joe Business, and Donnell Hayes, who adopted the name Donnie Wonderful. And he's such a bad SOB that he can take the name Mr. Wonderful and not worry about any repercussions from anybody. We all told him, and he's like, you know what? I do what I want. So anyway, both great guys. Actually, the 2 of those guys, they were Dante's guys, and I like to look at myself as Bo's guy, and the both of them put the two groups together. And so like Donnell and Joe have they have a YouTube show, podcast and YouTube show called Smart Tank Revolution. All right. Okay. And Donnell, I promised I'd get it in. And let's see here. So I want to make sure I get this out there for these guys. So Donnell actually he runs One Punch Boxing Club. So he's a former boxer, and he runs One Punch Boxing Club in Quincy. And he's like legit MMA and boxing media. They're like credentialed for like any big event that goes on anywhere. And the guy's done so much. And their website is called Fight View 360, and the YouTube is it's Street Controversy Live, but it's spelled capital T STREE capital T Controversy Live. So basically, I'm telling you all this because like Joe Hesh is one of the best talkers in life. Period. The kid's hilarious. He can talk. That kid's got the gift of gab. He could sell ice to an Eskimo. And Donnell, the guy is as legit in the fight world as you can get. So I was in some ways, I was a little out of my league, but I was the wrestling nerd. Both of them were wrestling fans. They wouldn't have been there if they weren't, but I was the nerd. You know what I mean? So it was
yes.
So for sure. So anyway, that was like I said before, those were only. So we did the first one that I did commentary for. We actually did post at the bell time, and we sat in front of the monitors, and that was pretty easy because you're not on the spot. If we wanted to stop and do it again, we stop and do it again. So that was great. But all the other ones after that, full on live, baby, full on live.
Live TV is no joke, and that's the thing about wrestling. And I've spoken about that many a time. Wrestling is always live TV. Any single event, it's always live. You can hiccup, but you just got to come back from it. You got to move on as you do on the live stage. I've been there myself as a guitar player. You hiccup, you just push forward. You skip that, you skip the beat. Who the hell cares? Hopefully, most of the guys and girls that are drinking the brews don't even hear it, and you just keep going on and on.
Yeah, I mean, especially playing music or playing with the band. We always had more fun. We didn't mind making mistakes. We actually liked it. We were like, it just gave us a reason. Just being silly, it gave us a reason to joke and laugh. And sorry, I'm relocating.
That's quite all right.
Yeah,
That's quite all right.
But yeah, it gave us. I'm going to talk louder. I was just going to give me one very quick second. But it gave us a reason to joke and laugh and to look human. You know what I mean? If you take it. Anything in life, you take your shit too serious, it's just people are going to lose the fun. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you.
Mistakes are good, man. Mistakes humble you. And
There's
Lord knows I've made a million of them, especially on commentary. And I won't lie to you, Don. I don't want to cut you off. I don't know if you got like more questions lined up or whatever, but the mistakes that I've made on commentary to this day keep me up at night. I saw, so at the, I just, I'm super, like, I'm on cloud nine that I get to do, I'm like the permanent color commentary guy for APW now. So it's like,
congratulations on that.
Dude, thank you so much. Like, I mean, that was beyond fishing for that compliment, but thank you. But so I'd say this, all of my wrestling, my wrestling for the bell time guys, especially my two guys, hard work, Barnaby Combs, and my man Adam, referee extraordinaire. The three of us together, we call ourselves the Fabulous Three Nerds. So they've heard this story so many times. And it's not even that big of a deal, but to me, kept me up at night. It was Brian Malonis and Demon Ortiz at Fenway. Dante he was really good for like, he was really good.
Oh, hold on, wait, stop, everybody.
Oh, that's how we get down in this house. What is it? Yeah.
Hold on, pause. Did we just see fucking Batman?
You might have, yeah, you might have, yeah.
Wow.
So there's chicken left over and rice and we'll have some more soda down there.
Wait, Batman is hanging out at your pad eating dinner?
How it is, man. Yeah, always. Wow. Yeah. Sorry, I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. That's probably a much better interview. To tell you the honest truth.
No, I didn't mean to. No, what the fuck? It's Batman. Are you shitting me right now?
Yeah. I know, yeah.
Wow. Sorry to interrupt, sir.
No. Totally fine. So let me see. Where was I? Back to that database again that we were talking about.
Brian Malonis and Demon Ortiz. I'm sorry to remember you.
Yep. So and Dante was good for like so another thing he did at all the shows was he had like these really cool celebrity guests. Like he had I feel terrible that I'm gonna botch some of the names, but the guy that played the Red Ranger on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Jonathan. Jason Saint. Well, his name was Jason on the show. I feel like a total shitbag not remembering the guy's name. But he was the Red Ranger, for Christ's sake. That's what everybody knew him for. Red Ranger, Smalls from the Sandlot, and that's just a couple. He had and he'd have them there and signing autographs and meeting people and all this stuff. So for this Malonis and Ortiz match, he comes over to me with Leon Poe from the Boston Celtics and William Gross, the Boston police commissioner, the guy that wears the fedora hat. He just comes over and says, "Oh, by the way, these guys are going to do commentary." He was good for doing that. I had no clue. He would do that all the time. All these guys are going to do commentary. I'm like, "Oh, okay, great, right." So here they come. I got the police commissioner and Leon Poe from the Celtics there, and I got Demon Ortiz and Brian Malonis in the ring. Demon Ortiz, the New England Hall of Famer, and Brian Malonis. I mean, don't even need to. It's Brian Malonis. Okay, so I'm nervous enough as it is calling this match, and I got these guys here now. Now you can imagine. So one of the oldest moves in the book, the drop toe hold. It's the most basic. I mean, it's the drop toe hold. It's a drop toe hold, okay? And I called it a single leg takedown. Single leg takedown. In a match that I would say to people like, how proud I am of this moment. Leon Poe got involved at the end of the match and gave him what they called the Celtic stunner to Brian Malonis. It was like all this cool stuff going on. And in the middle of it, people are going to watch it and go, this fucking dipshit called, what is he doing commentary if he's going to call a drop toe hold a single leg takedown? And I would hear it in my nightmares at night, right? Single leg takedown, single leg takedown, single leg takedown, right? Kind of like echo in my mind, you know what I mean? And so at the APW show, which was the first one that I did, the last one before the event, Malonis was actually there. And I had to do it. I said, can you do me a favor, Brian, and help me heal an emotional wound? And I told him what happened. I said, can you just tell me it's okay, please? And he couldn't be any cooler about it. He was like, oh, come on, man. Everybody makes mistakes and blah, blah, blah. So he healed that wound for me just a little bit. But I mean, Don, as a fan, you can imagine. There's so many more of those. I was watching an old match back, and I must have missed the move. And what it was a Japanese arm drag. And I must have been, I don't know if I was, which was a stupid mistake as a commentator, I must have been looking away, or maybe the vantage point, I didn't see what happened. All I saw was one guy go flying over the other guy, and, the movement of the Japanese arm drag. And I kind of didn't see the actual, for whatever it was, something hindered my vision or whatever, right? And Joe called incorrectly, sorry to put you out there, Joe, but he says something, he said, oh, and a lariat. And I'm like, in my mind, lariat? Like, what the hell? The guy just went flying over. I said, oh, must have been a rolling lariat. You don't see too many rolling lariats. So, like, people must have watched him be like, who the fuck is this guy? I mean, why is he here? So yeah, those things I can't, it's just, it's like anything else in life. You only remember the mistakes and you don't remember all the good stuff. And it was, for me, just all of it in the end was just good. I shouldn't even been there to begin with. I thought I could get in because I made 2 songs that got, that was, I should have never been there from the beginning, but glad I am. And I can't thank those guys, Masshole, Bo, and Wagner, all those guys, but just for Dante for giving me the chance to do it, man, honestly.
Sharing all of what you just spoke of, my friend. I don't break this stuff out on a regular basis, but I kind of broke out the moonshine for Andrew. And if you see, the sun is glaring right through it,
Yep. Uh-huh.
It's got the cinnamon stick still in it and everything.
Beautiful.
It's actually homemade by one of the Battlefront Pro Wrestling Extreme Wrestling fans. And she brought and now this is not a regular sized mason jar, if you can tell. This is a big ass mason jar.
That's a doozy right there for sure.
But your stories, your fandom, your passion that you've given us today, I think I'm popping this bitch open tonight.
Jealous.
So we're gonna take this off. Yes. We're gonna take this off.
Can we cheers?
Oh, absolutely, cheers. Yes. When I pop it, when I pop that cap, you just gotta smell it. It's so appley. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh man, I'm jealous.
I love my friend Andrew. I appreciate you, man.
Likewise, Don. Likewise. Appreciate you, man. You're making me look like somebody. Oh, how is it?
I love you for those kind words, Andrew. Usually when I pop this thing open and take a sip, it's usually potent and gives me a little kick in my ass. This is way too fucking smooth. I think I might get drunk tonight. Holy cow.
Do it right now. How much more time we got? Let's just get skiddoed for the whole rest of it. Come down if you are.
Well, I usually don't take questions, or I've done it maybe 2 or 3 times now. I've seen a little bit of chatter on my last post of having Andrew on Stirring the Pot. I put it up this morning. I'd like to at least let people know today's the day. And there was a little bit of chatter. So I was thinking maybe I'll keep this uncapped. I think I'm going to actually light a cigarette for this one, because me and alcohol, oh shit, I'm out of cigarettes. That's not good. Oh well. So more alcohol. So what I'd like to do is just read some of this stuff, if I could, because it pertains all to Andrew, if that's okay, sir.
Sure, go for it. I'm excited
now. I'm going to take me a nice little sip.
While you do that, I'm going to go. I can still scream so you can hear me, but I'm going to go over and grab another pop. I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, you busted out the moonshine, so I mean, it is what it is.
I don't know how that second swig was way stronger than the first one. That thing tasted whack. Wow. I think I got some of that nasty moonshine in there. But I thought this was a fantastic start, because I want to put this down so I don't spill it. Now, you were at the last Test of Strength event, Undeniable 2.
I was.
Quite the event, might I say. Probably one of their best.
Not even just saying that, because I mean, there wasn't one boring moment. Honestly, think about it. There was not one dry spot. It was just from beginning to end. Every match was just completely different. It was just, I mean, I couldn't say enough good things about Undeniable 2. Yep.
I know, great stuff. But I inherited a souvenir.
Oh, I love it. Look at that. Cold Cash is okay. When would we ever think we'd hear you say those words?
I didn't say him. You did. Frosty
Well,
thought he was
yeah.
gonna trick me. No way, baby.
Yeah.
I'm not saying those words.
I mean, it's worse. You're wearing it. That's even that's even worse. But
I did
anyway.
it. I I did it actually for this occasion. Actually,
Okay.
let me get that alcoholic beverage again. Now I wear this because of Undeniable 2 that just happened this past Saturday. And we've been saying, the fans, that Cold Cash is not, capital letters NOT, not okay. I'm going to say probably for the last 2 to 3 months, literally. But it's really gained some heavy steam over the last month and a half with some of the other newer faces that have shown up at TOS as fans. And so we had that not okay thing. So when TJ Hall III came out, obviously with Ryan Frost during their entrance,
Yeah.
and I unwillingly got this thing put on me. So I already had.
Talk about getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah, I know. But I already had on my beautiful, exquisite Frost is Stupid shirt. I already had that on.
Yep.
So he covered that up with this garb, if you will. So I'm going to keep it forever and ever. It's going to remind me of how not okay they are because you've seen the end results. I love that. Yes, you've seen the results at Undeniable 2. So I did want to point that out before I get into this conversation here. Oh, shucks. It kind of scooted to a different post. Hold on. I'll get back to it. Right. In the meantime, I'm going to have a little sippy sip.
Yeah, go for it. Take your time.
It's getting stronger by the sip. Holy shit. All right. Now, I'm going to start this off with Ryan Baer. Do you know of one Ryan Baer, sir?
I do, actually. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Now, he says, it's more of a comment for me, for a question, I guess. We could say it that way. Ask him, and I can't wait to hear this, ask him about post-test of strength karaoke adventures.
Yeah. If you want to call it an adventure. At the Deuce, okay? It's an easy one. At the Deuce, after Fight for Your Dreams 2, on the other side, they had karaoke. And your boy, Drew Kazoo, went over there and completely, totally annihilated Enter Sandman. I had every face in the place in both of my hands and generously gave them back just because I felt like it. Yeah. Oh, dude, wow. I slayed Enter Sandman. Slayed. Wow. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, if there was like I stole the show, there was nothing came close. Nothing. I used to do Traveling Band by Creedence, was my old go-to for karaoke. Okay. I decided to switch it up for Enter Sandman. I'm not like the world's biggest Metallica fan. I'm not even the biggest fan of Enter Sandman, but I knew everybody knew it. I knew all the words, and I knew it was something that I could really just fucking growl, like. And I did. Yep.
That sounds so awesome. I'm visualizing it as you're speaking of it. I can so see Drew just taking names and kicking ass.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I mean, you could imagine too, I was kind of on cloud 9 from the event,
Yeah. Yeah, all
because
that.
It was the first because I feel like, for better or for worse, I mean, the bell time guys could have kicked me anytime. But it still felt like they kept me because we had a little thing going. But for Wagner to ask me to do the big event, it was kind of like validation that some things that I was doing something right. And so to do the event with Joey Etch, by the way, who was just I would love to do commentary with that guy again. I don't know how well you know Joey Etch, the radio guy, the DJ for.
I don't.
And I forgot. Oh, he's great. So anyway, I was on cloud 9 from the event. What a perfect thing to do right after, to go into a room. I mean, I don't think any of those people in there were at the event. So it was like this whole new crowd, and here comes all these wrestlers, and then me. Where's the book? Yeah. And but yeah, that's what that was. That's what he's talking about for sure.
If you could just excuse me for like a quick couple milliseconds,
Yeah,
I'm just
you
going to run
can.
out into the other room and come right back, but we're going to keep speaking, if you will.
Go for
First
it.
thing I've got to say after that beautiful, beautiful story, love that. I wish I could call this episode, but I don't know how to write that out. That's my first statement. Second statement, this alcohol is kicking my ever-loving skinny ass.
Good.
My third statement is I need a cigarette, which are
Do
out
it.
there.
Oh, dude,
And
I don't
that's why I
blame
have
you.
to,
Yeah,
okay.
go for it.
Fourth off, I'm going to speak a real quick story before we get into the next. Is it a question or a statement? Oh, it is. It's a statement and a question at the same time. So
Okay.
I'm going to give you a quick story while I run into the other room real quick. Like, okay, is that cool with you? All right. So I've only done karaoke like 2 or 3 times in my life, right?
Okay.
So I go to this really small place. A buddy of mine, he's my drummer, my old drummer, and we were gonna go look to get a chick singer. We wanted to start something back up. So we knew of this place that had a karaoke, and she was a really good singer. And I know she was in another band. And I figured I'd try to entice her and try to get this thing rolling, you know?
Okay.
So he goes, "Hey, you gonna sing anything?" Because I mean, I can sing some stuff pretty straight. And then I did a lot of background singing in our band, you know, doing the 80s stuff, you know, White Snake, Rat, and all of that stuff. So I've
Yep.
done a ton of background stuff. And I'm really not a karaoke guy. But previous, at that moment, to be not previous, but at that moment, I was actually in another band and I was doing a lot of the singing and playing guitar because we didn't have a singer. So I was just cackling a bunch of garbage out of my mouth. It really wasn't singing.
I can
But
relate. Yeah.
one of the songs was Only by Anthrax. And I think I could do that one pretty good. So I go up to the karaoke girl and I go, I guess I'm kind of getting pressured into doing a karaoke tune. I'm really not down, but do you happen to have Only by Anthrax? She jumped right out of her seat and goes, her boyfriend was with her. She goes, "Are you fucking shitting me? This guy wants Only by Anthrax? I've never had anybody request it. I don't even have that. You know what? I'm going to download that for you right now." Dude, I got up there and now I'm going to paint the setting real quick. It's a very small setting, very small. And there is nobody in there under the age, I'm going to say 60. Okay. And I come in and I bought, like, I've heard some Winona going on. I've heard some old school Patsy Cline going on. And then I come up and I rip out Only. And I felt like I was just like the biggest rock star throwing the mic down and walking off stage. And I just annihilated every senior citizen in that building. Dude, I had so much fun. I got done and I looked around and everybody's just kind of looking at me. And I go over to my bro and I go, "That was fucking crazy." He goes, "No, that was fucking awesome. I didn't know you could sing like that." I go, "Well, you gave me 2 shots and there's a bunch of old people in here." I said, "Fuck it."
That's awesome. I love that.
I didn't mean to go on karaoke, sir, because that's the only one I really got. Well, actually, I have 2 more, but yeah. But I just wanted to throw you that one tidbit because I had that same feeling. I did Only by Anthrax in a small little place that was doing like country shit, and yeah, that was interesting.
Love it. I love it.
Now, the next one is a statement / question. Robert. Now, I never know how to pronounce his name, his last name. Demore, I want to say.
Denmore?
D-E. Yeah, Demore. I don't know how to pronounce that. So I am so sorry, Robert. You can kill me when we see each other if you wish.
Nicest guy ever, man.
Now, I don't think I've ever personally met him. And if I have, I don't remember face to face because I do know him on Facebook. He likes, we kind of chit chat here and there. He likes a lot of the stuff that I share and whatnot.
Sure.
He says, "Awesome guy. Ask him who his favorite woman wrestler is."
My favorite woman wrestler is. I got to tell you, I'm really, really bad at favorites.
Okay.
Favorites, you get locked into one. I can tell you who some of my favorites are.
Sure. Give me like, if you have like 2 or 3, give me a couple.
Yeah. And I know that I'm going to name a bunch and then I'm going to remember later, go, oh, I should have said such and such, blah, 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 right? But I've just loved Charlotte Flair. I think that she's just like kind of stands above so many. I think, well, you know what? I think right now I could probably say unequivocally that my favorite is Britt Baker. She's just
Oh
like,
wow.
yeah, she's just pure gold, man, pure gold. I
Oh
love
wow.
everything about Britt Baker. Yeah, you said wow. Well, why the wow?
Because you know, a lot of people associate the big dub with all of the huge top stars, and I know AEW has been making a mark over the last year and a half, 2 years. It's been, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Um, so for you started with a Charlotte and you switched over to Britt Baker, and my wow was because Britt Baker is such a young talent in the
Yeah,
game, if you will,
yeah,
on TV. Maybe not in the industry. I don't know her history, but on TV, she's a very young talent,
yeah.
and visually in our eyes. And I know Charlotte Flair is not no like crazy 20-year veteran, but we've seen Charlotte Flair time and time and time and time and time and time again. We've seen her champion many a time. We see her always in the mainstream storyline stuff. Obviously, Britt Baker is the new champion, and I get that for AEW. Totally get that. It was just you started with Charlotte Flair and went to Britt Baker. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying she's down here, but it's two totally different feels, if you will.
Sure it is. Yeah. Well, I told you. I mean, obviously, I told you I can't pick one favorite. So for obvious reasons, Charlotte Flair. For anyone who loves Dr. Britt, obvious reasons, Britt Baker. I just think that she's pure gold, pure gold. I also really, really love Io Shirai.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Io Shirai is just amazing in every respect. How many more should I do? Would you say 5?
Yeah, hey, lay like 3 or 4 more on me. Go ahead.
Let's see. I don't know if we should go back. I mean, I know a lot of people. Obviously, she was a bad human being, but obviously, you remember from being a kid was Moolah.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. And then honestly, I got to tell you, like I said before, I really like Ty Conti a lot. Big fan of hers. I told you, the crying is a big thing for me. You know, she cried just for getting the 1, 2, 3 on TV, and to me that kind of that goes a long way. But again, I'm sure I forgot like so many of them.
Well, you name some fine talent, you know, modern and past. So you name some very, very fine talent that's out there in the women's division. And I got to say that the evolution of the women's division, where it started being the Mullahs and stuff like that, and the Mae Youngs, and that was the true women's division. Then it became kind of weird with the divas and the panties and the dresses, and it's kind of come back almost full circle now because we're seeing stuff like, you know, Deebs and Thunder Rosa, and look at Camille right now. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And I could go on and on about that, but the women's division has kind of come full circle of true women's wrestling, and I enjoy all of that. I really do enjoy that.
Yeah, I like that. They're just wrestlers now. Some are men, some are women. You know, and I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm glad. I like seeing. I mean, it just means more talent. It just means more options, more matches, more everything. You know, like. So yeah, I love it. It's just wrestling. It's just some are men, some are women. There is no more like, you know, it used to be, if you remember back in the days, and I even remember as a kid, not even have to admit it, when they have like the women's match, it'd be like, oh Jesus, here we go. You know, it'd be like, it was almost just like a novelty act.
Yes.
It was like a step above the can I say midget? I mean,
no. I've interviewed Short C. Sampson. Rob the Giant. Don't call him Robbie the Giant. He'll stomp on you.
Robbie the Giant. Listen, I gotta. Well, he was okay. I'm sorry. When I called one of Rob the Giant's matches. Okay, this is one. Can I share this one with you? You'll really like this one. Okay, so now at the time he was billed as Robbie the Giant. So I apologize to Rob the Giant. Who's a great guy too. And this bothered me. Actually, this still bothers me to this day, even though.
No.
Okay, so and now we wouldn't have done this if the match wasn't billed as it was, and had they not been it was Rob the Giant against Bullet Joe.
Oh.
All right. Yeah. Oh, it was great. It might have been one of the best matches on the card, to tell you the truth.
That's at Fenway. That was at Fenway as well.
That was
correct?
at Fenway. Yep, and they killed it. So the other guys, Donnie and Joe, thought it would be good to do like little puns. Okay.
Oh.
Right. Now I'm a little on the fence about it, but at the same time, the way that they had approached the whole thing, I'm like, I guess it'd be okay. I guess it'll be fun. This is what we're doing anyway. I think they even used that word, midget, at some point in time. So anyway, Rob the Giant is making his way to the ring, and these guys are just rifling him up. Yeah, little this, little there, right, and everything's fine. And so I had nothing to say. And he's whipping around, he's about to hit the stairs, and I said, oh, it looks like the crowd here at Fenway is giving Robbie the Giant just a little bit of trouble. And he stopped and goes, what did you say? And he goes, what to the commentator? What did you say? And he's getting in my face. And I honestly legit didn't know how to react to it. And I just kind of froze. And of course, the whole match, I'm like, oh, shit, you're about to get your ass kicked after this match. And I put in my mind was like, fuck, that might actually happen. Like, all jokes aside, I'm like, that really could fucking happen. Like, I'm not a wrestler, like, and if I piss this guy off, he might catch me outside. So anyway, hey, everyone else about that. Like, yeah. You shut me right up. So anyway, but he's a wicked good guy. I think we spoke once since then. I don't know if he'd remember that, but I felt good about it because I'm like, okay, he doesn't hate me. But I'm sure he's a good sport about it. And
yes, absolutely. And I made sure when I was interviewing Short Sleeves, I thought he was the perfect guy to ask because of his stature in the wrestling industry. Very respected, one Short Sleeve Sampson. A pioneer, and because he has his own midget wrestling organization going on that travels, and which I think is absolutely amazing because they have a great crew together. Rob the Giant being one of them. But I did ask Short Sleeve Sampson, I go, I'm just going to start by asking, is it okay to say the word midget? He goes, oh no, not the M word. So in all honesty, I feel that they take it in stride. I don't feel that it's derogatory. They don't take it in a derogatory sense, if you will.
Yeah, I think in the one sense it's obvious because they're putting themselves out there like that, Yes. But on the flip side, just like with anything else in this world, like, don't be a dickhead. Exactly. As far as like if you're gonna have fun and meet everybody in the same level playing, it's whatever. Everyone,
I almost want to name the episode that. Don't be a dickhead. That is just a perfect fucking title. I almost want to name it that.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Yep.
Oh, really? You're down for that?
I'm 1,000% down for that. Sure.
Yes. Don't be a dickhead. I love it. There's going to have to be a couple stars in there, though. Like, it can't be fun. Oh, God, that's amazing. I love that title. Drew, I could talk to you for hours and hours, but people don't want to hear me speak for that long. So I'm going to move along to these comments here. Sure. The next comment, oh, Jesus. I'm just going to, I don't want to skip it because it is on here and I want to be cordial.
Okay.
It's from Howitson Davis the Turd. The Turd! But anyways, he says, oh, poor Andrew Pilarski. Don't even say anything to that. To Howitson Davis the Turd. Let's move on. Jake Sampson. Now, Jake Sampson has, I think today, actually, has returned because he has been on a hiatus for a while. Do you know of one Jake Sampson?
Absolutely. I do.
I'm sorry to hear that. But he has, I believe, returned because, again, he's been on a hiatus for a bit. Yep. And all of a sudden, I got a friend request from one Jake Sampson, and I think I shit my pants a little bit, but I had to hit the old like button, if you will. He puts, ask him why Need for Speed sucked so bad. Oh, wait, that's not Aaron Paul. My bad. What is
I can't lie to you. Do I look like somebody named Aaron Paul? Like I don't. Who's
that?
Aaron Paul?
I
I'm gonna
feel
have to
you.
look it up now. Where's my phone? I left my phone the other. I want to look up Aaron Paul, see if I maybe look like somebody named Aaron Paul. That's all I can. That's all I can guess.
Okay.
I will speak to. I'm a huge gamer. I will. I will speak. Was Need? Is he talking about? If he's talking about Need for Speed, the video game, or is there another? Was it the name of an event or something? I don't know.
It was a movie. At one point, Need for Speed. It was a
Yeah,
movie.
Need for
So
Speed. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Was it a video game too? It was a video game. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it
It
was a
is.
video game. Then they made a movie of it. Yes.
Uh-huh. Well, never was a huge fan of the game. I like racing games, but I was never really big on Need for Speed. It was never one of my
Okay.
favorites. I can't lie. I really want to know who this Aaron Paul is. Right? That's
Yeah.
my.
Yeah. You know what? As soon as we hit the old stop record button, I'm gonna have to Google Aaron Paul myself.
Uh-huh. No, no, I'm going to do you one better. If you, like I said, I'll keep talking just so you know I'm still here. I'm looking it up.
Yes.
If I get a picture, I'm going to put it up on the screen and let you guys do the
Yes.
trick. And maybe I could be totally wrong about the entire thing. About the entire thing.
Hey,
Oh, I promised. I'm going to make this super quick. I promised. So I met a guy. His name is Don Jeffs. He goes by the Holy Don, and he was
Okay.
nice enough to give me. He used to play for the Miami Heat, and he gave me this hat, Boulevard '86. He said, "Next time you're out and about, show the hat and show me some love." So Boulevard '86 by the
Nice.
Holy Don. Now you know. Now you know. What else do I
Now
got
I
to
know.
plug? I should spend the whole rest of the time just with plugs. But right now, let's figure out who this Aaron Paul is. Well, were you gonna? I know you don't have a ton of time, like you said. So
No,
tell
that's
me.
okay because this will leave room for something down the road. We can catch back up. You can tell more stories because I know you have 1,000 of them. So I would love to maybe a little bit down the road have you return to Stir in the Pot. Tell us some more stories.
Oh,
See what's
I would
going
love
on in
to.
Drew's life at that time.
Bro, Aaron Paul is Jesse from Breaking Bad.
Oh shit!
So if he's saying that I look like that guy, I don't know if he is or if that was just totally random. But if so, I'll take that as a compliment. And I'm guessing now he means the movie Need for Speed. I don't know why it sucked that bad. Yeah.
He was the driver. He was the main character. He was a driver in the Need
Okay.
for Speed.
All right. All right. Yep. Well, there we go.
And to close off the comment section, if you will, one of my dear friends, I call her Sister LC, Laura C. I'm sure you're familiar with Laura C, correct?
I am. Yep.
She's a super fan, if you will. Now, Laura C., and I think this could be very quick and simple, and it says this. Drew!
Well, you know what? I'll do one even better because I am such a mark for, and I know I don't care how weird this sounds to anybody. I'm such a mark for adorable little babies. I'm like an old lady, and I was quite bummed out that Laura C was not at Undeniable 2 with little Violet, who I like every single picture that I see again because I'm a mark for the adorable little babies, and that just comes from my family. My mom's always taken in foster kids, adopted kids. I worked with my whole family. We've all had jobs working with kids for like the longest time. So but yeah, that's just me, just a big old softie. So yes, I was bummed that I didn't get to meet little Violet at the show. So
I'm sure Violet will make an appearance. She's made one Test of Strength appearance. Wait, maybe two. I think two is a possibility, but I only remember one for some reason. But anywho, she has been at a Test of Strength. She has been at that I positively do know a Shut Up and Wrestle up at Holyoke, Massachusetts, at the Kevin Landry's Combine. Fine times we have up there, my friend. Good, fun stuff up there.
Oh, I bet.
So Violet is starting to make her rounds, and I'm sure she will make her return along with Sister LC at Test of Strength. And we did miss her and both Sister Dawn Barrett. They were supposed to come together, but they were not able to connect and make that travel. So hopefully we do get to see them next time. But that does kind of close out the comment section. And I can't appreciate you just letting me kind of read that stuff, except the old HD3 stuff. I kind of really hit it up and then skimmed across it. We don't really need to touch upon that stuff much.
Well, if we did, again, that would take a whole nother episode for sure.
That guy, holy crap. Andrew, you have been an absolute gem. We have been going on for about an hour and 20 minutes, my friend.
Wow.
You have told us some fine stories. You've shared so much with us. We've learned, I think we've learned a good amount of Drew, but there's plenty more I think we could definitely learn about Drew Kazoo, our friend, right now sitting with us talking. And so hopefully in the near future, maybe 6 months down the road or so, we'll see what's up with Andrew. We'll reach out, say what's up, my man, and maybe reconnect and do a follow-up if you will.
I would love nothing more, Don, and I'm down anytime. I can't thank you enough. I told you it's an honor and a privilege to be invited to do this, for sure.
I thank you so much. When we connected, like I told you at Test of Strength, when I see those answers of a yes, would you like to be on Stir in the Pot? It doesn't matter who it is, part of the industry. If it's a talent in ring, being a wrestler or a referee or a timekeeper, a bell ringer, a commentator, a ring announcer, a guy that's putting up or a girl that's putting up the ring, I don't care. Please, when I see that yes, I mark out like it's one of the most popular talents in the industry today. I just love when I see yes. And when Andrew said yes, I was like, F yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm telling you, it really was. This kind of lived over my expectations of how much fun we were going to have on this show, because I knew we were going to have some fun. But you were a joy to talk with, my friend, and I appreciate it. And I hope the fans enjoyed your fandom and your passion and the way you spoke to us, because I loved every second of it, and I can't wait to hear more stories from you.
Well, I can't wait to tell them. I can't wait to do this again. ASAP. You let me know and I'm there.
Absolutely. And with all of that said, boys and girls, this is Stir in the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Andrew Pilarski, a.k.a. Drew Kazoo. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you, Don.